What were your New Year's resolutions? Have they already slipped? Can you use AI to get back on track and help conquer your goals? We'll be diving into this on today's episode of AI Curious. My name is Jeff Wilser. I'm a journalist, I'm a human, and I'm curious about AI. And there has been a lot of talk about how AI can help us be more productive, from writing code to writing marketing copy, but relatively little discussion about how AI can be useful when it comes to setting goals, tracking goals, and keeping goals. So today, I am delighted to be joined by someone who is an expert in all of these things: productivities, workflows, tech, and AI. That would be Aytekin Tong, the founder of JotForm and the host of the new AI Agents podcast. Aytekin has some serious credentials. JotForm has been around for nearly 2 decades. It's an easy way for small businesses to build online forms. It's been used by over 20 million businesses. He is also an expert in AI and is building new AI agent tools for small businesses that will launch soon. But you don't need to be a small business or a large business to appreciate this conversation. You just need to be a human being who cares about getting stuff done, who cares about goals. Now, personally, I love New Year's resolutions. I know people think they're corny. Not me. Well, they are corny, but they can be useful. I love they give you an excuse to reflect, to take stock, and prioritize what's important to you. The problem, of course, is that we get all excited and hot and bothered for like a week or two, and then by mid-January, we forget about these goals, which is precisely why I wanted this episode to drop in mid-January, the exact time when we start to lose focus. So Aytekin first starts big picture about how and why we can lose our focus with goals. And then we get into his morning routine, which helps establish the idea of setting priorities and focus. We get into how, when used creatively, AI can help you more clearly understand your goals, break projects into smaller chunks. We also talk about how AI can not just be used as a thought partner, but also as an accountability partner. This is one of the more practical, servicey episodes we've done here at AI Curious. And along the way, Aytekin and I even sort of stumble upon a startup idea. I think it's not bad. So if you're a VC and want to write a cool $5 million check, the friends and family round is not yet closed. Hit me up on Twitter/X at Jeff Wilser. But for now, please enjoy my conversation with Aytekin Tong, the founder of JotForm. Aytekin, welcome to the pod.
Hey Jeff, how are you doing?
Great. I am fired up to talk to you because it is January and it's like a cliche. So many folks create so many goals and they have these like amazing ideas for New Year. Oh, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to read books. I'm going to do all these things. And we're so excited for 72 hours. And then by February, it's all come off the wheels. We've forgotten and so on. You have such a deep background in understanding productivity and goals, both from the tech perspective as well as psychology. So I'd love to hear from you on, in your mind, where do you think we tend to go wrong with setting resolutions and goals? And then how can AI help us get it right? I mean, we'll start at a high level and then eventually get into more kind of practical tools folks can use.
I would say we usually over plan, over optimize. Instead of trying to like just plan everything ahead, it's better to go one day at a time. So my morning routine is more every morning I get the kids to go to the school, I go to gym, I take care of those stuff. But then when I sit down on my computer with my coffee in my head, ready for the day, I will just launch this this full screen editor, like black full screen editor. It's IA Writer, not AI Writer.
IA Writer, okay, all right.
IA Writer, because it can go like full screen with like just one single cursor.
I like it. Everyone else is doing AI. You're doing IA. They're zigging, you're zagging. I like it. All kidding aside, is the goal, if I understand you right, is the goal to kind of block out distractions. So you have
it's about starting your day by just thinking about like your priorities. So I just launched this full screen editor and just there's nothing else. and I ask myself this question: what's the most important thing I can work on? And I start journaling. Like most of the time, I don't know. I'm confused. I have so many things in my head. But once I start writing, they just start like becoming more clear, and I will be able to just clear out all those like noise and just focus on that. What's the most important thing that I should be focused on that day? And I think that's if you do that every day, there's compound returns on that, because what's happening is that instead of wasting your days, you're actually figuring out like what's the most important thing for your day. And most of the time that I can actually focus on that and start working on that and work on the most important task for a few hours.
I love the idea of starting the day like before you get bogged down in the nitty gritty, before you get kind of you're waging the endless war against email. Clear your head, clear your screen, and say, okay, here's the most important thing. I love that. Getting that routines and process is very important. And I have a vague sense that AI can be useful to help support these routines and processes, that in one of which you're describing of the morning ritual of what's important. How have you found AI to be a useful tool to help strengthen and solidify this type of morning routine and process and kind of a reminder of the goals and so on?
I found that AI can actually be a great collaborator, especially when you're brainstorming, when you're planning, when you are actually deciding the next step or dividing the steps into small pieces, that you can actually get help from AI. And some of the ways you can actually do that is I actually really love the conversation mode, especially on ChatGPT's mobile app. You can go into the conversation mode and then you can just start talking about it. Just like
I use it all the time. I feel like just a weirdo. I'm constantly chatting with it while making breakfast. So I'm with you.
I mean, even like it works really well while you're driving, right? So let's say I actually thought about all my like what I need to focus on next, like what we need to focus on our products, whatever we are building or in our company. And once I decide on that, the next step could be research. Like in the past, like I would actually do that journaling and then maybe I would just read a book. I would research about something. But today it's just much easier to talk to ChatGPT or just gather some information either from ChatGPT, ask it to do some research, and then give it to the notebook LM and just say, create this podcast for me.
You mentioned, and I totally agree, it's a great thought partner. Can it also be an accountability partner? How have you found it to be effective? Or not? If it's not, that's okay too. But what are some ways that AI or chatbots or AI agents or whatever it is, it can be useful to be an accountability partner and to help keep track of goals and what are you doing today? What are you doing this year? And that kind of more kind of like accountability framework.
In terms of accountability, getting it to remind you to do all the things, I would say basically you can ask it to just break down your plans, right? Let's say you need to do something. You can ask it to find the next steps and find all the things that you need to do to be able to accomplish your task. So I really like that.
Just to kind of put some color on that a little bit. So if the goal is to like, okay, and I'm a writer, so I'm going to use this example. If my goal is to write a book proposal for some certain topic, that's my goal for 2025 or for one of my goals, then it can say, hey, ChatGPT, please help me break this larger goal into smaller chunks and help me figure out what my next step will be and do the research there, right? So to your point, maybe like in the past, I'd have to Google how to write book proposal. I'm reading all these articles. I'm getting frustrated. I'm not sure where to begin. Here, you can kind of like start with a bigger kind of loosey-goosey goal, and the AI, the LLM, can be your thought partner in helping to map that larger goal to more specific actionable, doable goals and say, hey, Jeff, your plan of attack should be step 1 needs to be write an outline. Step 2 is think about the various table of contents, and step 3, and on and on. Am I kind of warm on how it can be used to help kind of take kind of like half-baked ideas of a goal and then make it more actionable, specific, and concrete?
I love that. So another thing you can do is you have all these different threads on ChatGPT, let's say, and you can just go back to the threads that you previously were like conversing, and then go back to, okay, so I'm doing this, I did that, what's my next step? So kind of continue that conversation. You are kind of like having this meeting, and you could even put it on your Google Calendar and just have
I do that. I have I call it a staff meeting. Again, it's just me. It's at the moment a one-person show, AI Curious. I have a weekly staff meeting and also daily huddle ups where I'm talking to my quote unquote team saying, hey, you're supposed to do this. Have you done that yet? And I have a sense that ChatGPT can be somehow harnessed to improve that process. I haven't yet done it. And it sounds that you can have almost these threads open, and so it could be a thread, a conversation you have over weeks or even months, and then you can reference back to it and say, hey, and if you say, hey, dude, it's been 2 weeks. What do you think I should do next? I finally sent an email to so-and-so. What's my next step?
I feel like this could be a really good idea in terms of, we are also building this AI agent product, but someone could actually build this AI agent product that can be kind of your live coach. Yes. And then you could work with those coaches to get you to those places. So basically, maybe there are already products like that, but you could actually prompt the AI to be your coach that way. Okay, here you are the coach for this. I want to lose weight, and then I'm planning to do these things, right? Be my coach, and then you could just have those conversations, have those like weekly conversations.
Yeah, and you can have different. That's a great idea, and you can have different themed coaches, right? Maybe you have, because obviously you can have multiple conversations in parallel with ChatGPT and every other, whether Claude, same concept regardless of the platform. Maybe you have, let's say you have, I'm making this up on the fly, but for listeners to kind of give it possibilities here, including myself, let's say you have 7 or 8 different resolutions for the new year, and one I'll just share. One of mine is to read more, and specifically, I want to read a book a week on average. Right, I want to end the year having read 52 books. I also want to meditate more. I have professional career goals. Right, maybe there's a conversation for each of those. You have a chat. The reading coach, there's my personal trainer coach, right? And I can check in once a week with each of them and say, hey, it's February 10th. I just finished this book. And then they'll be like, oh, good job, Jeff. I think research has shown that keeping track of things helps us psychologically stay motivated, right? We're more likely to keep on pursuing our goals if we see these mini successes, right? If we see these and it kind of helps build habits. So I'm imagining in my head here, this marrying up of that idea of tracking and like getting a lot of gold stars. This week I did it. But also you have ChatGPT responding to you, and then also have the ability to say, good job, Jeff. You've just done 7 weeks in a row. But hey, just so you know, next week is July 4th weekend. You might be busy, so find another time to. So it's easy to imagine how this personality could help you, give you momentum and encouragement to achieve these goals. There's something there.
Yeah, definitely. Don't break the chain, right? That's the idea.
Yes, exactly.
Don't break the chain and keep doing those things every week and be accountable to your chain and make sure that you keep doing them. And how do you get help from AI on that is about, it would help you with the research about how you find like those books. Maybe one reason that you might break the chain is maybe you don't find it, you don't get excited about the books in your list, but maybe you can get AI to help you research more books. So It's about kind of getting help with AI, talking with someone about your goals. And the great thing about AI is it's in your service. It can help you whatever you need, and it can give you the answers you need. And if you dedicate time to a specific topic every week, that you will be able to get feedback, ideas from it.
I love that. And I think and that's one reason I want to speak to you is I think not enough people think, and I don't do this as often as I should, think about using AI as kind of a project management coach, or even like a personal kind of, this is not quite this way, but like a life coach or executive coach, right? I mean, you especially ChatGPT, the most advanced model, is pretty good at this kind of stuff. You can say, hey, here's where I am, and I've done this. So here's where I am in my career. And I give it a pretty detailed, like long paragraph block of who I am, what I'm doing, what I want to do, and say, here's a stretch goal. In 5 years, I want to be doing this. In 1 year, I want to be doing this. Please help me create a plan of attack. And it will actually break that down and say, cool, to get to where you want to be in a year, you need to have these milestones completed by month 1, month 6, month 9, and so on. And then you can kind of start big picture and then get more micro. And is that as good as a session with a one-on-one actual like top shelf life coach, second coach? Probably not, but it's a hell of a lot better than doing nothing and starting from scratch. So I found a lot of value in that.
When I try to reach a major goal, instead of just focus on that goal, I try to find a way to kind of build the capabilities, skills needed to reach that goal. So, and to do that, you need to kind of time box some time. If it's personal, time box some time.
Can you define time box a little more for me?
It's about like just making sure that in your calendar, like you say, okay, this hour is for this. I'm just gonna go do that. Rain or shine, I'm gonna do this. Unless like I'm really sick, I will go to gym like 6 days a week, for example. And because I kind of make sure that I define that I always follow that. And instead of trying to get to this weight or get to this strength or something like that, I just look at it, okay, hey, I'm doing everything I can. I'm giving it time. Similarly, like journaling every morning is very similar. Just make sure that I time box for journaling so that I don't just go random stuff, just I focus on the important things. And so if you're able to actually, whatever your goals are, if you have time boxed the times, where, let's say your goal is to read books, right? So you want to make sure that you have time in your calendar for reading books, and you have dedicated time for that. Once you have that, and once you follow that you're going to be able to reach that goal, because you're not going to, at the end of the week, you're not going to ask yourself, okay, why I didn't do this? Because you already have it planned ahead. So I guess, like, how can you use AI in terms of this? How can we use AI to time box, to help us with time boxing? I guess you could use it for research, right? Yeah. So I haven't thought about that much.
No, honestly, I think, I'm glad that we kind of teased out that concept. I think that time boxing, it's really important. I predict personally that AI agents, and there will be some future solution that more formally leverages these ideas we're discussing, like the idea of having these conversations with this kind of like goal coach or accountability partner. Right now, we can use through clever conversations, we can have it help us out. I bet there will be projects and AI agents that maybe, like right now it's passive, right? You have to like, it's on you to reach out to kind of rekindle the conversation with ChatGPT and say, hey, it's me again. It's April 1st. Just a heads up. It's easy to imagine as some kind of app, where the AI agents is more proactive. As I've said a bunch of times in this podcast, I am super bullish on AI agents exploding in the near-ish future. So tell us about what the AI agents tool that your team is building, and kind of what can we expect out of that?
Yeah, sure. But before I get to that, I really like your idea. Let's say instead of buying this book about dieting or bodybuilding or learning something, what if you just bought or like you just like kind of subscribed to this AI agent that can actually like kind of teach you. Like that could be like your coach, that can be your trainer, and teach you, motivate you, and be able to get you to some place.
And they can personalize it. Also, they can personalize. They can say, let's say, physical fitness is a good one, a gym. So let's say you're like, okay, cool. I want to lift more weights. I want to 4 days a week. I want to lift weights. Maybe, and if they know you're not just interested in fitness, but you're also kind of a history nerd, history buff, maybe it does the usual thing, saying, okay, cool, Jeff, you're based on what you told me, I would recommend changing your next workout to like actually increase your weights by 5 pounds, but do fewer reps and whatever. And also, this day in 1974, it was the first time the system was developed, right? It can sprinkle in history because it knows all that stuff, right? So it's I think that future is very close, when we're going to have these coaches that are able to be accountability partners and also kind of like provide so much more personality and motivation and personalized instruction. And they might also know, not yet in today's world, but maybe 6 months from now, a year from now, they might say, also, I know that your reading coach knows that you just read a book about this workout system. One thing to consider for a book you're going to read next month is this book about the history of such and such physical fitness, right? So it's these things could kind of build upon each other and get more and more personalized.
Yeah, just like Netflix suggests the next next show to watch, that if you had this reading coach, reading operator, that you can actually discuss the books you're reading and suggest the next books, that could actually be a really good agent. So I feel like you really we both discovered a really cool startup idea here.
After this, we're gonna VCs that are listening to this hit us up afterwards. Well, our family rounds of investment is here. All right, but seriously, I want to hear about what you're actually. Those are just my half-baked ideas or quarter-baked ideas. I'd love to hear about what you and your team are building with the AI agents.
So basically, I've been in this forms business for like almost 2 decades, and JotForm is like the market leader, most successful form builder, where 25 million people use JotForm to create forms. So we had this idea that what if we turned forms into conversational AI agents, and that's actually how we started. And we have been working on this product for over a year. And what we discovered was like we opened it to a lot of beta users, and what we discovered was like most people actually used it for customer service. Just let's say you put this this chatbot on your website, so that when people come to your website, they can actually ask questions, get answers. So we solved that, or they need to register for something, they can just have this conversation with the AI agents in the chatbot, and then they can register for something, for your event or something. And it's available 24/7. So, and one of the things we did was, as the manager, like the owner of the AI agent, right? Mm-hmm. As the manager of the AI agent, you can actually weave all the conversations, but we also made this one-on-one chat, right? You can actually have a conversation with your own AI agent. Just like if you hired an AI agent, like an employee, you can have one-on-ones with it. And like when you start talking with your own AI agent, it will tell you, okay, I just had this conversation. Hey boss, here's coffee for you. It says things like that. And then it'll say, I just had this conversation. I couldn't answer this question. How should I answer this question? and it asks you for more knowledge about things. So you're basically even kind of improving your AI agent can be done by just having this conversation with your own AI agent.
That's really smart. That's really slick. Congrats on this launch. I'll definitely be checking it out when it comes out in February. And last question for you: and I'll also have links to all of this in the show notes and links to all of your various products and companies. Last question for you about AI agents. What else? Give me a prediction of how else you think AI agents might change people's lives in ways they're not quite thinking about right now. What are some like daily activities or just the way we operate in the world that might be pretty darn different in a world where AI agents truly go mainstream?
I mean, media likes to talk about how AI is like taking over jobs, things like that. But I feel like that's going to be the opposite. AI is going to make many things that, just like when most companies, they don't provide customer service. You cannot talk to them easily. But with AI, it's much cheaper. So all the organizations, all the companies are going to be able to provide these AI agents, conversational AI agents as customer support, customer service, 24/7 for free, and you will be able to do everything you can. So this is especially great for small businesses. For small businesses, that means that you can actually have great customer support. You can provide onboarding for your services or your products in a much better way. You can provide these you can actually just provide just don't think about just the existing channels, phone or chatbots. Think about what if you could actually talk to the AI agents on Zoom, right? Then actually they can actually show you stuff. They can actually share their screens. They can show
that's
you.
Coming. It's only a matter of time, right? I know you're helping us build that world, but it is pretty soon. People will be effectively zooming. They'll be looking at their phone or laptop, whatever, video, having what feels like Zoom talks with real looking people that will be their AI agents, or to close this loop here, an AI coach, a goal accountability partner saying, hey man, great work crushing your workouts last week. On deck for you on Tuesday, you have a heavy leg day. I hope you carb up beforehand. That world's happening.
I think AI agents in education is going to be huge. AI tutors, AI educators are going to be huge because they are going to be like your dedicated teacher. Whatever you want to learn, if you want to learn basketball, if you want to study like math, like just you can work with them easily. Like even today, my kids they're always on ChatGPT voice mode and constantly asking questions, doing their homeworks together with AI. And it just makes it so much easier for them to learn stuff. And once the AI agent's gonna get all these new capabilities, like seeing and kind of being in the room. Once they are in the room, they can actually, just like an educator, just like a teacher, they can actually take someone from where they are to somewhere else. And think about it, like billions of people in the world, wherever you are, because this stuff is almost free. That's the great thing, right? You can learn anything, anytime, anywhere, from without having any budget. That means so much for the world. It's going to be so
absolutely
great for the world.
I share your optimism on that. There's so much Black Mirror dystopia conversations, and that's part of the equation too. I'm not dismissing that, but I think this positive use case is also important to consider as well. Great positive note to end on. Thank you so much. Congrats to you and your continued success at JotForm. I really enjoyed the conversation. Best of luck to you on conquering your New Year's goals, and thanks for helping us accomplish our own. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. Thank you.
So there you have it. Thanks again to Aytekin, the founder of JotForm. And again, I think we kind of stumbled into some interesting and creative ways to use AI, not just as a thought partner, but also an accountability partner. I will be trying all these out myself. I will report back on the progress. Thank you, dear listener. Good luck to you in your New Year's resolutions, in your goals. Consider using AI to help with this. Let me know how it goes. Leave a comment in the YouTube videos. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing to AI Curious at Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all the usual suspects. Thanks again, and see you next time.